It's been a big week for Sydney property, particularly on the northern beaches.
Yeah.
We've had some action. And today we're going to talk about losing business. So it happens with everyone, in business, everywhere, and how to take it like a champion. How we do it. Take Friday Frenzy.
It is Friday Frenzy. Yes, absolutely. I tell you what, that week flew by. It really, really did. Absolutely flew by, didn't it?
So quick.
Big topic today, and what brought it about was a number of things actually. But I was awarded to sell a beautiful property on the northern beaches in Sydney a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
I fought hard for it, but I was on the shopping list, and it was between me and another local agent. And at the time, my prospective vendor at the time had contacted me and said, just a question for you, because I've got some concerns. It was mentioned to me by another agent that you don't do professional photos. And I said, really? I don't do professional photos. I said, how do you guys think we do the photos then? And they said, I don't know, maybe on your iPhone. And I said, okay. I said, look, that's a really easy one to answer, because all you've got to do is just jump onto some of our listings and you'll see all the beautiful photography that we do. We do actually employ a professional photographer for our photos. Anyway, it sort of went from there. Long story short, I was awarded the listing. But a couple of days ago, my vendor got in touch, and he said to me, Lisa, what's this person talking about? And sent me a screenshot of a message. And I'm going to read the message. I'm just going to edit certain parts. So he went on to say, shame he didn't get the listing, but just some advice on Lisa's video, which must have been done off her iPhone.
So this is a real estate agent giving a seller who's choosing their real estate agent advice.
So they'd chosen me, and obviously they lost the listing.
The advice they give.
So just some advice on Lisa's video, which must have been done on her phone. It looks cheap and nasty for a delightful opportunity in a prime spot of BIP. Not sure how she works. I think if you get to see it first before the world does, something like that. Anyway, I'm here to help. So my vendor sent that to me and said,
uses the word delightful, you should never use them anyway.
So my vendor said, Lisa, why is this guy talking like this? And I wrote back saying, it sounds like an upset agent to me, ? Those videos that he's referring to have generated off my social media over 20 inquiries for your property, fact. And then I sent a photograph of me standing on a stage at AREC. So for those of you guys that don't know, AREC is Australasia's largest real estate conference. And the conference is run by John McGrath. Tom Panos is always MC for the conference, and it attracts 6,000 real estate agents that come in from all over the world. Would you say maybe even more?
It's the biggest real estate conference in the world.
It could be in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, this year they've got Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah.
And they've got Ryan Serhard.
Yeah.
Speaking at the conference. That might give you an idea as to the caliber.
Gary Vaynerchuk one year.
Yeah.
So it's pretty big. But I think
a couple of years ago, I just want to finish on that. A couple of years ago, I was actually asked to speak at that conference. So I sent through a photo of me on the stage saying, here's me training 6,000 real estate agents as to how to take those awful videos on their iPhones, which clearly works. But, you know, how do you manage that kind of stuff, Mark?
I think, look, you've got to be, and I think it's. And I had a conversation the other day with another real estate colleague, and he's like, man, I don't know how you stay so happy and stay so positive and what you do, but I think it's pretty hard to, because you do get, you win a lot of business and you lose probably more business than you win. That's life. And I think I think it would be nice to hear at least you're doing your number one salesperson out of 600 agents on the Northern Beaches, you would probably be knocked about more than any other real estate agent out of those 600. But it happens, and I think the perception is you think it doesn't happen in business. It's only you that it's happening to, and you're in a bit of a down period and you get kicked even further like shit. But I think in that moment, that's when your best or your worst comes out. And how many times I've had that happen, not won the business, and respectfully look, like similar to a little bit of what that guy said, I'm here for you, but not to sort of, it's almost threaten the fear of loss with the other agent. It leaves a shit taste in the owner's mouth. They will never go back to that agent, even if that first agent fails.
Agreed.
They will not go back to that agent. Furthermore, they won't tell their friends and family that the agent that lost the business, that, you know what, they were both very good, but I chose that agent. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But the second in line or third in line, they were both very good. Often they just burn their bridge.
I did an appraisal the other day. This is actually a really big topic because it's something that, we are all exposed to in our industry, not just in our industry, in every industry. But I did an appraisal the other day, and the prospective vendor said to me as I was walking out, he said, did you not want to know who your competition was? So he'd called in 3 agents. I was the third one. And I said, I looked at him and I said, no, why are you asking? And he said, because they asked who the competition was. And I told them, and they were saying some not very nice things. And I said to him, it's just not relevant to me. Who you choose to come through your home to appraise your property is your business.
Yeah.
I'm super confident of the product that I offer, and it's just absolutely not relevant. So, it was just an interesting conversation. He said, I really rate that. I rate that you didn't even ask. And I said, well, I'm just not, it's just absolutely not relevant to me. I never ask who the other agents are. I'm so confident of the product that I offer. And if someone does not choose me, then I'm always gracefully walking away and saying, guys, I understand it's been a very, very difficult decision. I'm here if you need me. Feel free to call me at any time through that process. I'm here if you need me. They will never forget that. A message like what was sent to my vendor the other day from a disgruntled agent who didn't get a listing, who thought it was okay to bag videos, that, actually I want to address that in just a moment, but it's bad form. It's really bad form. That vendor...
Shame.
No, but that vendor agreed that it was just absolutely unprofessional and extremely bad form. This is an agent that my vendor chose. My vendor chose me. And so he wrote back saying, we love everything that you're doing. Thank you so, so much for everything that you've done so far. We trust you. As I said, it's absolutely bad form.
I've had one of the biggest people on social media question themselves with me about TikTok, and they were like, what do you reckon? I feel like a muppet, doing that sort of content. It's different content again, but I think people have got to realize that there's different content for different channels that you provide, and all of those channels provide marketing avenues, branding avenues, exposure for anything. So I think that the days are up for that sort of slow walking real estate agent swanning through a property. There's a place for it, but there's also
the real estate portals.
There's also places for
without a doubt. And I'm not even going to enter into content. Whether or not I think the videos that we do are professional or not professional. No. The reality is, guys, that the people vote. You guys vote. Now, it's not luck that I got to be the number one agent in my core area and across the Northern Beaches in 5 years. Yeah. 5 years of being in real estate. As I said, the people vote. What we think about our videos and what other agents might think about our videos is not relevant.
But don't get angry at the dinosaur for being a dinosaur.
No, that's exactly right. But I also want to talk about losing listings, because I'm actually going to be addressing this at a conference that I'm doing in a couple of weeks' time.
Josh Teslin?
Josh Teslin, yes. So Josh is putting on a conference, not next Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. Happy to pop some details in here. I think it might be sold out, actually. But some phenomenal speakers. My goodness me, he's pulled some big names. And I'm the only girl speaking there. So I'm quite proud about that.
Gender doesn't matter.
No, it's true. But just talking about, losing listings, sure. I do lose listings. I don't get every single listing.
Yep.
I lost a really big listing not so long ago. Actually, that vendor has since been in contact with me. But as I said, I do it gracefully. I definitely do get my fair share. I'm not complaining.
Yep.
But I will always say to myself in my head, pick yourself up, dust yourself off,
yep,
and prep for the next one. And as a result of losing a very, very big listing, Mark, not that long ago, 8 weeks ago, I was also awarded to sell the most iconic house on the Northern Beaches in Sydney. And look, I actually do believe a lot of that was just the shift in my mindset, because a couple of days prior to getting that massive listing, I did lose a big one. And some people might just be sulking in a corner and they will lose that next opportunity. But I always say to myself, another great listing is just around the corner. Get up and just keep going.
Keep going, kids. What else happened this week? Was it actual?
Oh my goodness, so many listings coming on. I don't think that's normal across the board though. But our team has got an enormous amount of stock coming on.
It's funny that I feel that people they've climatized to the environment finally. That's probably taken them a good year, but people allow, this is the landscape, this is what we're doing, and that shock and awe has come out of the market. So it's pretty much essential purchases and essential sales, not desperate purchases and not desperate sales. So anyone who's going, look, let's just tidy up the backyard, they're doing it. So there's plenty of business there. Yeah,
there's a lot of buyers coming through opens. I was getting groups of 20 and 30 coming through some opens last Saturday. Actually, even Wednesday was really busy, which was unusual. But are all of those buyers all vying for that property and ready to buy immediately? No, you've still got to sift through to find the buyer. But there's absolutely more activity out there. Without a doubt there is. And we are seeing investors selling properties at the moment. We had a good look at that this week, Mark, when we were going through all of our new stock, and noted that there was quite a few investors selling.
Scarcity of anything is going to help pricing. So the scarcity in this environment, as in lack of stock, is helping preserve these prices. I'm having a lot of mortgage cliff conversations with people. A lot of people are convinced that when people come off the fixed mortgages, it's going to be Armageddon and trouble and fear. And I personally think that after people go off on their rant and I'm really, really quiet, they go, what do you think? I'm actually quite the opposite. And I do have to say, and I know I've said a lot of it on my social media, please do not forget the last 18 months of interest rate rises. Those mortgage holders have paid more out of their pocket than what these mortgage holders on fixed rates are going to be paying. Don't forget it.
Yeah.
And bottom line is the default in mortgages in the last 18 months. If they did happen, then I would be worried about this mortgage cliff. But the defaults in mortgages are still at a normal level within banks, and at a low level in banks. So I think that if people could have gutted these interest rate rises without any notice, they're definitely going to be able to gut the mortgage cliff that's coming, because they've had plenty of notice, plus they've saved a lot of money because they've been on a low rate.
But I was listening the other day to something on the radio, and they were saying more and more people are buying a lot of these home brand stuff. So, people are saving on. They're not getting they're not getting the Sonoma $8 loaf of bread. They're going and buying the home brand loaf of bread for a couple of bucks. And so they're cutting that way. They're not selling. We're not seeing a huge amount of people selling their properties. That's probably the last thing that they're going to do. they're going to get rid of the caravan and stop going out for dinners and doing all that sort of stuff before they go selling off their home or their investment property.
Happened in GFC. The fast food brands did really, really well.
Yeah.
I know Domino's exploded through the last GFC because people were like, we're not going to go out to a nice fancy restaurant, just grab a pizza.
But it comes in its ebbs and flows. I mean, during COVID, people were Deliverooing and Uber eating, Mr. Wong's, because they could. They just had more money to spend and nowhere else to go. So people were continuously spoiling themselves.
That sort of went premium.
But
what else
it
happened
comes
this
in
week?
its ebbs and flows. Lots of stock launching, and also, guys, don't forget we've got a couple of spots left for, I think it's almost full house actually, for our first home buyer night next Thursday night. There's quite a few of us speaking at that. That's going to, and even if someone actually wrote to me the other day and said, I'm not a first home buyer, can I come along? 100%.
Oh, there's good IP. There's good information.
Yeah.
Bit of a tough week as well, Lise. We had Mr. Bublo, Stephen Bublo from our office, lost his mum. So shout out and condolences to the family.
Beautiful family.
If you know Stephen Bublo from the office, he's probably, and particularly that family, one of the most beautiful people in the world, and very gentle, very kind, and the late Malev of Bublo. I think a funeral's going to be coming up early next week. Keep an eye out for that. But she was a paralegal for 40 years in one firm in Brookvale.
It's incredible.
So she's had her hand in a lot of helping of people into homes.
Yeah.
For a very long time. So unexpected, and shout out to the family.
Condolences. Absolutely. We took our crew away for the weekend. We left on Saturday afternoon after open homes, and we came back Monday. We were due to be back Monday lunchtime. And got caught in that horrendous accident on the Hume Highway.
Yeah.
Goodness me, that was awful. So just want to say condolences to that family as well. That is just beyond heartbreaking, what happened there. So just, as I said, we want to just share our condolences there.
You can never work out on a highway when it's just straight. There's no left turn, no right turn, no anything. How an accident can happen.
No, they don't quite know what happened there.
She did a U-turn apparently.
Goodness me.
Apparently.
Unbelievable.
It's very sad. But the Christmas party, which we do in March, because that Christmas period's bananas.
Nothing we do is normal, guys. In case you hadn't noticed, nothing we do is normal.
30 of us also, we're a team of about 40.
We've been doing it for 20 years.
Yeah, 30 of us all jumped in cars and we went to a place called O'Allen, Allen, O'Allen. And we stayed there for Sunday night, and beautiful place.
Yeah, there was no Wi-Fi. I thought I was going to have
no Wi-Fi.
I was going to have a brain explosion.
There was no Vodafone, no Optus, no Telstra, and no Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Which I think is the most dangerous in society these days.
Yeah. But we honestly had an absolute ball with our crew. We just went away and we just had a great time, didn't we? Young and old, danced, had a few drinks. The boys were on the barbecues. It was unreal.
Got the smoker out.
Yeah, no, it was great fun. It really was good
fun. What else
we
before we go? Real
crew.
estate. We've covered the state of the market. We've covered losing business like a champion.
Yeah.
We've got Lisa Novak, the angry version. Shall we start off this one?
I didn't even get angry.
No,
I can though.
No,
I have to say, it takes a lot.
Out.
It really takes a lot for me to get really, really angry. I'm pretty even-tempered the whole time, but yeah, it takes a lot for me to get really angry like that, I have to say. I'm a Scorpio, but yeah, when that sting comes out, it comes out. But honestly, very, very even-tempered. I run at a furious pace.
Any other shout-outs?
That's it, guys. I think that is a Friday frenzy.
Have a beautiful day. How good is this?
Enjoy the weather.
How good is this? Heat.
Enjoy the weather.
Enjoy your weekend.
See you guys.
Obviously,
bye.